The first COVID-19 vaccine gets full approval in the United States. Triad doctors weigh in, and could more vaccine mandates come?
It comes on the first day of school for many Triad students. How it went at schools across our area.
But first, a special Davidson County School Board meeting starts in just about 30 minutes from now to talk about COVID-19 protocols.
Right now, masks are optional for students and staff there, but after nearly 400 students and staff were forced to quarantine the first week, some parents wonder whether there will be changes.
WFMY News 2's Grace Holland joins us live now in Davidson County. Grace, you talked to parents about what they hope comes from this meeting.
We've started to see parents and people showing up ahead of this meeting just in the last few minutes, many of them wanting to be inside to hear what board members are going to talk about tonight. I spoke to some Davidson County parents earlier today, and they told me they think masks will be a part of the conversation.
But I just want to make sure that my kids can stay in school and they're safe.
Brittany Young's first and fourth grader are enjoying going to school without masks in Davidson County.
And as of today, they're not wearing a mask. However, my stance has changed on that pretty quickly.
Rising cases and hundreds of quarantined students in the district changed her mind in favor of masks in the classroom.
I'm honestly starting to lean more towards it just because I can't take any more time off work. I don't want my kids to be sick. We don't need to be sick. You know, I want everyone to be safe. And what measure we have to take for that, that's what we'll have to do.
Some parents hope masks will stay optional.
I honestly feel like it's going to rise even if they do put them in masks.
Jennifer Fischel's son is a high school junior and a football player.
They had to wear masks during football season earlier this year because of COVID, and it's really hard on them.
But she says remote learning was harder for her son during the last year and a half. She agrees with Young that she'd rather see masks required than her son learning from home.
The biggest thing for me is not going back to virtual learning.
We won't complain just to keep them in school because we don't want to go through 2020 again.
We don't know if board members will take any action on the superintendent's COVID update that she's going to give tonight. We will keep you updated on what we learn on air and online.
Grace, thank you. A big difference between districts requiring masks and those not: the quarantine procedure if students are exposed to COVID-19. The state says self-isolation is not required when all students are wearing masks. But in mask-optional schools, it doesn't matter if some of the kids exposed were wearing masks. Everyone exposed must quarantine. Those procedures played a role in the decision to require masks at Rockingham County schools. The district originally had masks optional, but several board members said their priority was keeping kids in the classroom, and masks would help them do that. Students went back today with masks required.
Several other Triad school districts welcome students back today with a mask requirement. The biggest districts, Guilford, Winston-Salem, Forsyth, and Alamance, Burlington, all started today with masks as a mandate. Masks are optional at Randolph, Stokes, Wilkes, and Yadkin County schools. But this just in, Yadkin County Schools announces an emergency meeting tomorrow to discuss their current COVID policy. The new school year started last Monday for them. The meeting is tomorrow at 6 o'clock at the Yadkin County Schools Administrative Office in Yadkinville. For Guilford County Schools, about 70,000 students were welcomed back to the classroom today. Several parents have told us they were anxious sending their kids back to the classroom with COVID cases rising, but Superintendent Dr. Sharon Contreras says it's important for students to learn in person.
We want to try to manage expectations that it is going to take several years for some of the students who were behind even before the pandemic, were very vulnerable before the pandemic. But we intend to expand the one-to-one tutoring initiative that we have with our community partners, our university partners, to be able to offer students who need support more tutoring throughout the school year.
As we mentioned, Winston-Salem Forsyth students also went back today, but it's extra special for Louisville Middle School, where students are going for the very first time. WFMY News 2's Sydney Moore talked with students and the superintendent about a new year in a new building.
I'm very excited. There's going to be so many amazing opportunities to do like some community work and help around with the classrooms.
staff, and Winston-Salem Forsyth County School Superintendent welcome students to Louisville Middle School for the very first time.
We have needed new seats, more seats. We have many middle school students, and so this school is able to relieve some of the overcrowding in some of our other schools.
The district built the 3-story building with money from the 2016 bond referendum at a cost of nearly $27 million. More than 600 students currently attend the school with over 60 staff members.
And the staff has been preparing since the spring, and that includes everything from coming up with mascots and school colors to what are we going to, how is, the design's one thing, but how are we going to actually prepare and any procedures and protocols to open the new school year?
Cheerleaders and band members from Reagan High School greeted incoming students as they arrived on campus for day one. Traffic at times backed up, and the superintendent says lengthy lines are expected these first few days of school.
We will get through the morning rush. We will get through the confusion with bus and bus stops and bus route. We will get through all this. This is very typical at the beginning of the school year. So I really thank those parents that are patient and that know that this is going to happen. And at the end of the day, a week from now, it'll be a distant memory.
Sydney Moore, WFMY News 2.
The school district set up a hotline to answer parent questions anywhere in the district. Call the number on your screen if you've got concerns about the district's pandemic policies, procedures, technology, or just about anything else. The line is open weekdays from 7:30 to 4:30.
The FDA gave full approval to the Pfizer vaccine today. And with this big announcement, Two wants to know if this could mean more vaccine mandates. WFMY News 2's Avery Powell spoke to Triad doctors about what the FDA approval means moving forward.
Health professionals I spoke with say this decision could open up the door for more of those mandates and beyond that, more vaccinations overall.
Some additional people will get vaccinated because of this news. So, every person vaccinated is a good thing.
Doctors in the Triad are cheering on the FDA's approval of the Pfizer vaccine for people over 16, hoping it will increase trust in the shot.
And now they'll say, well, hey, you were telling me not to get it because it didn't have full FDA approval. Now it has it. Hey, I think I'm going to follow the science and the medical experts and go ahead and get my vaccine.
The approval could also open up the opportunity for more vaccine mandates among private businesses and hospitals.
Many have publicly stated once it's fully approved by the FDA, we will mandate. I fully expect that trend will continue. So we will see an increase in the number of requirements for vaccine as conditions of employment.
It's a hot button topic in the Triad after Cone Health, Atrium Health Wake Forest Baptist, and Novant Health all announced vaccine mandates for employees.
As a healthcare provider, I would hope that the mandates continue coming so that we can really get past this fight with COVID.
Dr. Harvin hopes moving forward, the community can listen to science and come together.
Let's do what's best for our fellow man and really let's get back to normal, right? And the best way to do that is to get the vaccine.
As for what's next for the Moderna and Johnson & Johnson vaccines, health officials believe it's only a matter of time before they get the okay too.
Avery, thank you. Republican Senator Tom Tillis is responding to the FDA's full approval of the Pfizer vaccine. In a statement, he wrote, the vaccine is, quote, safe and incredibly effective at preventing serious complications, hospitalizations, and death. Now is a good time to get the vaccine if you haven't already.
You've got to see our state's latest coronavirus hospitalization numbers. They seem to be leveling off. Today, the state is reporting just shy of 3,200 patients. It's not far off the number we saw the past 3 days. Let's zoom in here to give you a closer look. Our number has hovered just over 3,100 the past 4 days. Now, this is significant because prior to this trend, our state had been adding 50 to 150 patients every day. Obviously, these numbers are still way too high, but I'm encouraged that we've been able to see a few steady days. Locally, this number hasn't leveled off. Guilford County is reporting 171 patients in county hospitals. It's 29 more than the last time it reported this number on Friday.
We are on top of a developing story right now. Surry County EMS says they've responded to Pilot Mountain after somebody fell. They say they got this call shortly before 4 o'clock this afternoon. Details are limited right now. When we get more information, we'll share them with you on air and online on WFMYnews2.com.
Burlington police say they are investigating a deadly shooting from this morning. Police say they found 21-year-old Nikeen Thompson shot to death inside an apartment on Lunsford Drive. No word on any suspects or motive in that case. A juvenile has been charged with the deadly shooting of a 61-year-old woman in Winston-Salem. Police there say they found Donna Blackman shot to death in a home on East 14th Street.
Checking up on the weather outside, of course, we've had a lot of heat, a lot of humidity, and a lot of storms over the last several days. Today, we got rid of the stormy part, but it was still hot and still humid. Check out our numbers from today. These are always at PTI Airport, by the way. 90 was our high this afternoon, 70 our morning low. That's our 23rd day at or above 90 throughout the course of 2021 so far. On average, we get about 33 of those, so we're actually lagging behind schedule a little bit this summer, even though it might not feel like it. Heat is all around our area at the moment. No storms, though, currently in the Triad, just a couple popping up along that Piedmont Trough, as we call it. It's located right there around Raleigh and Fayetteville, North Carolina this afternoon. Just a couple. We should stay dry. Up the coast, of course, you still have what's left of Tropical Depression Henri. That is moving out of into the northeast in the next day or so. They're dealing with actually some tornadoes there today, as well as some downpours. But in the meantime, we'll be actually settling into some pretty dry weather. Heat continues, humidity continues as well. And yeah, it's not going to feel very nice tomorrow. We're up to 92 for the afternoon. But as I said, should be staying pretty dry. Wednesday, perhaps a slightly better chance of a pop-up shower or a storm. But this is what you get. The rest of the week, still hot and humid. Very little variety. A checkup on the tropics does show that the heart is beating here in hurricane season. We have 1, 2, and 3 areas that could potentially develop into a tropical storm over the next 5 days. The good news is that none of those areas seem to threaten North Carolina. As far as I can tell, we'll let you know, of course, if and when that changes. The season is just reaching that point, late August into September, that we usually start to see the most activity. So keep your guard up. Here's tonight. Mostly clear. It's muggy out here. No storms, though. 70 will be your low. For tomorrow, getting up to 92. It's a hot day in the Triad with a low chance of a storm to cool you off. And the rest of the week looks just like this. What you see is what you get every day in the upper 80s to low 90s. Very little chances for those daily pop-up storms. I think the best chance of that would be coming up on your Wednesday. An early look at your weekend plans. It's just going to be hot and humid, so plan to stay cool if you can, and if you're going to be outside, but low chances of those pop-up storms.
Now to the story that took the sports world by storm just a couple of weeks ago.
Retired NBA champion J.R. Smith is ready to take his golf game to the next level, and it's happening right here in the Piedmont Triad.
After basketball, they always told me I could go back whenever. When I was coming out of high school, so this is whenever for me. I could just play my game and, just have fun.
North Carolina A&T revealed JR's eligibility to join the golf team. WFMY News 2's Jalen Gilkey found out what's next for the new Aggie.
It was an opportunity of a lifetime. Not many have had this opportunity ever, and I just want to embrace it and take it as serious as I can as far as a golfer, as well as, more as a student, but just as well as a golfer as well.
Who would have ever thought that the 16-year NBA veteran and two-time NBA champion J.R. Smith would enroll in Greensboro's HBCU, North Carolina A&T. And while he's here, Smith will be more than a student. He'll be a part of the relatively new golf program at the university.
Being able to compete and challenge myself academically is where my heart is right now. And being able to play golf at the same time is even better. So it gives me incentive to, keep my grades up.
The NCAA announced J.R. Smith's eligibility Monday, clearing him to play collegiate golf for North Carolina A&T. Xavier Williams, a senior golfer for the Aggies, is excited for all the new attention his team is getting.
Having all-star caliber player like J.R. Smith coming to our team definitely brings a lot of national attention. And I think that we all have, kind of talked about it and said that, this is our chance to put A&T on the map, not for just football, but for golf as well.
But for Smith, this is about more than golf.
I wanted to go to HBCU. That was my whole goal going back to school. I wanted to, give back to my community, my society, and try to change the narratives as far as athletes in general and then black men as well. So that was my first goal.
That is so cool. Can you imagine just going to class and like, yeah,
right.
that's JR right there.
No, I can't. I can't at all. It's just unreal.
What's going to happen?
And I love one of the other golfers, his teammate, is like, this is going to put us on the map a little bit. North Carolina A&T is known for its football, and so now here we go with golf. I mean, could you imagine him on your team?
It's all a really cool story, and to have it happening here in Greensboro, we like all that stuff. Bring all the ex-players from the league to take up new sports here.
Now, hey, wouldn't that be cool? I've seen all over social media too how people are just excited to see him just out and about around Greensboro. So that's going to be interesting.
Like, hey, do you want to have a study group, JR?
Right.
That's fun.
And think about how tall he is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey, do you want to have a study group, JR?
That's right. That's
better.
More realistic.
Oh my gosh.
Well, thank you for joining us for this online version of WFMY News 2 at 6.
We'll see you tonight at 11 on the regular channel, of course.
Good night.